What's up guys, it's Justin, and today I am not in the car, I am back at the desk where this all started because today I wanted to see if I could make money on Fiverr within 24 hours of starting on the platform. Now if you're not familiar with Fiverr, it's a site where people can go and offer their services, whether that be Photoshop or article writing or playing video games with people, literally any service they want to offer. Literally any legal service that they want to offer, and then people can go and pay people on Fiverr to do those services for them. So it's essentially a giant marketplace for workers that want to freelance and offer up their business opportunities to other people. So today I'm going to walk you through exactly what process I went through, how I signed up, what services I offered myself, and whether or not I made money in my first 24 hours. So go ahead, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more side hustle content, and with that, let's dive straight into making our Fiverr account. So the first thing that I obviously needed was a profile photo, because if people see this smiling face, they're more likely to click on my profile. So I went ahead and I picked an old YouTube thumbnail and I repurposed that into my profile picture. So boom, just like that, I had myself ready to go. Now the next thing I needed was a tagline, something that would attract people and let them know what I'm about. So I decided the best thing I could do was be 100% honest, tell people exactly why I'm on the platform, and make sure that they understand exactly what I'm doing the work for. So I landed on this, and I thought that was very transparent and really let people see what I was about. Actually, I decided maybe that wasn't the best idea, and I repurposed that as well into something a little more catchy and maybe better for the brand. Now with that, my profile was actually complete. It only took me about 5 minutes, and I was on to the next step, which was actually creating gigs that I could offer up to other people. Now that process started with this very helpful man letting me know exactly what it took to get started on Fiverr and what kind of gigs would attract people, and all of that really helpful information that I almost immediately skipped through because we don't got time for that. We only got 23 hours and 55 minutes left. We got to get moving. Now once I was done with that, before I could actually start making my gigs, they made me add more to my profile. I don't know why this wasn't included in the original profile process, but they asked that I give a more comprehensive description of who I am and what I do. So I made sure to give them the absolute most important details about me once again to make sure they knew exactly what I wanted from them. After that, I put in my education information as well as a link to my personal website, which just so happens to be my YouTube channel. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers and I need you to be a part of that, so come on, just go ahead and subscribe. Now after having been tricked originally, this time I was assured that my profile was actually complete and I was actually ready to start selling my gigs. Now this is where things got interesting because I had to really dig deep and decide on, what skills do I have that I can offer to other people? What could I do for somebody that they would be willing to pay me for? And the more I thought about it, the more ideas I came up with. So instead of trying to go one direction or another, I just put down literally everything that I could think of and offered up pretty much any skill that I had to people for money. And the one that I wanted to use to walk through with you was actually kind of the goofier one that I put on here, but that was I will play Fortnite with you. Now Fortnite is a fun video game that a ton of people play, so I figured if anybody was looking for a buddy, they were a little bit lonely and they wanted somebody to play with, it's a multiplayer game across every platform, so I figured, hey, I'll throw myself out there and see if anybody wants to play Fortnite with me for a little money. I had to fill out a bunch of information on what exactly I was willing to do, what platforms I could play on, did I want to play single player or team, and for the most part I tried to keep this as expansive as possible and limit myself as little as possible by picking literally every single option that I could, because I knew the wider range of people that I appealed to, the more money that I could potentially make. The next thing I had to do was pick packages. So essentially what you do is you offer different levels of your service for different amounts of money, and obviously the less that you're giving the customer, the less you're going to charge them. Now the lowest that you can charge for something on Fiverr was $5, and this kind of ruined my strategy just a little bit because I was going to offer things for like $1, do things for a terrible hourly rate, and kind of build up my seller profile from there, try to see if I could get some good reviews and then bump my prices up later. But I had to start at $5, so I tried to give as good of packages as possible to see if I could lure some people in, get them to play Fortnite with me, and to make some money. Man, this sounds like the dream, doesn't it? So you can see here I have my rare Fortnite experience where we'll play 3 games of Fortnite together and talk about literally whatever in life. This was my $5 package, and I thought that was pretty generous given the fact that this would probably take all of like an hour. Then we have my epic Fortnite experience where we will play Fortnite for 2 hours plus 15 minutes for every victory that we get. So potentially if we continue to win over and over again, this package could last 3 or 4 hours. Now I don't think that's very likely, but it is possible. So I bumped the price up on this one quite a bit and made it $40. And then the crazy legendary Fortnite experience, we will play Fortnite until we win. I don't care if we play for 10 years straight. And of course this one had a 2-hour minimum on it because I wanted to make sure I gave them the best possible value and didn't play for less time than I would have the previous package. But this was $100 and I felt like that was probably fair, or even selling myself short, because potentially this could go on for a long time. The next thing I did, and something you have to do with every gig that you put on there, is add some FAQs. I didn't really know of any specific FAQs that I wanted on there, but I did some critical thinking and added some ones that I thought might have been a little bit funny because they could add to my brand and make people realize that I would be an interesting and fun person to play Fortnite with. I didn't feel like I had to keep it strictly business professional on this one. There were some other ones that I kept it much more straightforward, but this one I was just having some fun with. The next thing I had to do, and this actually made a ton of sense, was actually put the information that I require from the customer on there. This just skips an entire process of having to ask those questions later and puts it right up front. What information do I need from the customer? And when I thought about that, it was pretty straightforward. I needed to know when they wanted to play and then also their username so that I could reach out to them and actually start us up in a game. The next thing it prompted me to do was add a gig image. So essentially something that would make my gig stand out when people were scrolling through all of the gigs on Fiverr. And they were right. I needed something artsy that would look interesting and fun to people. And when I was thinking about my demographic, I realized it was probably some younger people that would be wanting to play. So I made these really funny and interesting graphics of us having fun, and then of course us winning at Fortnite, because that was inevitable. Now this is where we hit a major snag in our 24-hour challenge, because some of you may not know it, but I am something called a US citizen. And because I am a US citizen, I have to pay these things called taxes. And Fiverr needed to take my tax information and make sure that I could be verified on the platform, and that took multiple days. So it has not been 24 hours. It has already been more than 24 hours, but we're going to ignore that little tax verification time and act like that didn't happen, which means that we're only an hour into this challenge and we have 23 hours left to go. And just like that, once that verification did come through, I was told that I was ready to get going on this thing. So I hit publish gig, and just like that, my Fiverr business was open for business. Now, obviously, I didn't want to leave it at just playing Fortnite. I do have a lot of other skills, especially ones that I've learned from this YouTube channel, things like making thumbnails and editing short form content videos, even things like article or description writing I've gotten really good at, and I feel like I can monetize those skills. So I made a number of gigs that I thought that people might be interested in. Again, I normally started that base package at $5, thinking that if I could get people to pay for my services now, leave good reviews, and say that I was super worth it at my price, I could bump up those prices later and actually make some valuable money from this business. I was really impressed by how refined this entire process was to make a gig, and they actually had things so honed in that on certain gigs, like my article writing, I actually had to take an English grammar test to prove that I could do this job correctly. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, it was incredibly easy and I was absolutely flying through it. I was able to take a 40-question multiple choice test in 4 minutes and got a 92%. I'm pretty sure I didn't even look at the last 5 or 6 questions because I knew I only needed a 70%, but either way, we aced that thing. And with all that said, all that was left to do was sit back and wait and see if people were interested in the gigs that I had offered. And I gotta say, I was incredibly surprised to get my first message within an hour of posting these gigs. And it was actually from another one of the goofy ones I had made. This one was I was offering to give you fantasy football advice. For those of you that don't know, I'm pretty well versed in fantasy football, so I thought this was another one that I could maybe offer. And seriously, within probably 45 minutes, somebody had messaged me saying that they needed help getting a job done. I reached back out and said, hey there, how can I help you? And I was incredibly disappointed to find that they needed help listing and publishing 3 of their houses for rent on Avail. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. But I quickly realized that there were a bunch of fishy, scammy people out there asking for things that were completely irrelevant. Most of them got blocked within the first 2 minutes of me responding to them, so I don't know where these people came from, but that was not a promising start. And jump forward 23 hours later, when we had hit that cutoff mark, I had made exactly $0. Now, I was warned that this might happen, that it's pretty tough to get into the Fiverr market, and that you need to make quite a few sales before you kind of build your reputation and let people see that you are a viable seller that they can go ahead and give their business to. But I was disappointed nonetheless. I did get some impressions. My most popular gig was actually my fantasy football gig, which was really surprising to me. I guess there was a number of people looking for fantasy football help, and my article writing gig was the next most popular. But again, I didn't actually get any business from this, which wasn't the most surprising result in the world, but disappointing nonetheless. So if you guys like this video, I'd be more than happy to continue to try to build up my Fiverr business, see if I can employ some different strategies, and try to make some actual money from my hard work on this platform. So let me know if you guys like this video, if you like seeing me doing a completely different side hustle, and maybe I'll make a follow-up video to show you guys how far I've come. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, do all of the amazing things that you guys are so awesome about doing, and I'll see you soon.